Hey, folks. Let me get this going here. Going here. All right, Mary, we'll see who's around tonight. They did not give people a whole lot of notice.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping the broadcast is working. Our internet's been lousy lately, folks.
There's some thumbs up, so it looks like it's working.
Now, why is this private and where is my chat?
It's been that long since you've done this?
Well, they've changed things.
Yeah. I don't see it. Try the three dots.
Did you see me just click that? Let's see. Hi, folks.
I can get on my phone.
Maybe I can go on another.
Yeah, there's comments. So I'm looking at it on my phone. I'm seeing all the comments, but Corey's trying to figure out how to get it to come up on the screen. So hi, everybody. We have Christian, Annalie, Marianne, Thankful, SG.
All the wrenches. Hi, SG,
Lisa.
Giselle,
Oh, here we
Jamie.
go. Okay.
Well, yeah, this is on a different account, though. It's
Oh.
not the live broadcast one, but it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So, hi, Crafty. Vicky, hello. Linda, good to see you. Meredith just finished her makeup.
Oh God, I was just telling Corey, I didn't even brush my hair today. I have no makeup on. I'm so shiny. I guess because I was sweating earlier. I don't know, but I just didn't feel like it.
Hey, so wrenches, any idea why I can't see the chat in on the Bridge Cape Ann page?
Well, your seat, you have, what's it up?
This is my personal.
Oh,
I have like 20 YouTube channels.
they changed the setting?
This
for
is
businesses?
this is the business one here, and I can't even see it.
Yeah. Maybe
I don't know why.
they changed something.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, Dottie. Yeah, it's good to get the gang back together again.
Yeah, it's been a very long time.
Hi, Nydia.
We kept meaning to do this, but July and August got away from us.
Yeah, a lot of stuff got away from us the last few months. It's been
Yeah.
crazy on our end. So.
But we're back.
Yeah, so it's good to see everybody. It's been too long. It's been a long summer for us. So we should probably talk about Bubs right off the bat because we lost Bubba last Thursday. Now, for the more than a year, right? We celebrated his 10th birthday last August. We did a fun show. And even then, we're just like, this guy has outlived his life expectancy.
Yeah.
And we got one more year out of him, which was awesome. And I think you guys all know that he lived like royalty while he was with us, especially here in this house, because things are they're a lot cozier here, and he was so big that his presence was half the household. So,
Yeah.
but he, do you want to talk about what happened towards the end or why? Because so to me, what was odd, Mara, is like, so Bubba was he was a fun dog. We got him when he was 4 or so, and he was like a beautiful English Mastiff.
Yeah.
Mary, you always said they would have been like an award-winning dog.
Oh, yeah.
Which is weird because he wasn't, and he was crazier active back then. But what was weird is like Bub was like never sick, never injured, not on meds. Like he just went right through 11 plus years at the top of his game, which was cool. We started noticing he was limping. You know, he would every now and then. And then the limp got progressively worse. It'd be like 2 or 3 days he'd have a limp, then would kind of go away. Then maybe something would aggravate it and come back. But I'll let you finish from there, Mare.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't even have any gray hair. He never looked his age at all. And he moved really well. Like Corey said, he did start to develop a limp within the last, off and on limp in the last 10 months, let's say. But it always just lasted for a day and then got better. What we noticed in July is that it was getting more frequent, the limp, and maybe a little worse, but still would get better on its own. So I just figured, okay, he's almost 11, he's got some arthritis. Well, we left on vacation a little nervous that something would happen while we were gone, which thankfully it didn't. He had a really good time with Corey's niece watched him. But when we got back, he was limping really badly, and it wasn't just his left front leg, it was affecting his right side as well. And then his back end seemed a little weaker too. So it shifted from being a one leg thing to being a whole body sort of thing. And at that point, I realized it was his neck and not his leg, or not arthritis on one side. So we elected not to go through the stress of testing to find out exactly what was going on, just because getting him out of this house would have been too much stress for him. He absolutely hated the car. He just, we knew the anxiety it would cause him.
I don't think people realize that, because Bubba was so docile here and just laid around and ate stuff all the time, but he actually would get stressed very easily and be anxious very easily if anything shifted, if the footprint of the room shifted, if we were away for too long, if we weren't out in the yard with him, like he would get an anxious moment.
We finally finished the basement here, and even just trying to get him to go into the basement, he hated it, even though it was in the same house, just because
it was
a different place.
It was something. You have a bigger bed. Everything would have been easier for him. He didn't want to do it.
So yeah, taking him for testing wasn't going to be helpful, because in the end, there weren't going to be any treatment options. So he very likely had a bulging disc in his neck, or something growing in his neck or into his spinal cord, basically, that was just not going to be treatable for a dog his size and age. So he got better again, though, from when he was bad in early August. He actually, without intervention on our part, improved. And that's when we said, oh, let's go on with him. Let's do a video for his birthday. And, things happened that kept pushing it back. I got COVID, and Corey didn't want to be in the room with me, which was fine, understandable. But we kept pushing it back. And then unfortunately, he took a turn for the worse pretty quickly, and really just couldn't do much on his own for a couple days at the end. So it was definitely the right time. It was still very difficult, of course, to make that decision, but it certainly was the right time. I do feel terribly that we couldn't get on with him again to have everyone see him and interact with him one more time, because he really was very sharp and happy until the end, which is all we could ask for. So
yeah, we keep saying it too. It's like, we've had 5 dogs together now. Like, you had 2 before, right? And like Maple lived pretty long, right?
Well, double-digit years.
Yeah, which was great. So we just can't believe, of all our dogs, that Bubba is the one who blew past his life expectancy. Because it was where we had, you guys never got to know Bella, our yellow lab that we had. She passed 3 years ago, and they were close, but Bella ran the household, and Bubba was much more rambunctious then. And but once she passed, he settled down a little bit too, and I think honestly he kind of liked being the only dog. That's kind of what he was suited for.
He loved COVID because you got to work from home.
And then I was between COVID and then my 2 jobs I do from home, I was glued to him 24/7. And literally the last couple of months, we actually just put a queen size mattress out here because he couldn't climb up on the couch anymore or spin around on it to get comfortable. And so we gave him that bed, and I was just out there with him every night, basically, which was fun. But we got every single day out of that dog's life, and he got every single day out of his life that was possible, which was awesome. And then, of course, with Meredith, we were able to, it was a gentle landing for him too. So that was nice, but we'll miss him. Obviously, it's just the 2 of us in the house, and he's a big part of our household. but at least we got that much time with him, which was really cool. At least you all got to know him a bit too. It's weird being here without him just because I still call his name out.
I look for him when I get out of bed in the morning.
Because he had his weird routine too, or even just preparing dinner. Like his chin would be on the cutting board, just waiting to push the scraps into his mouth. And he liked to lick the bowls clean, and his head would be in the trash, and all that Bubba stuff, which is why we would take polls on what snack he would eat that night. So, and even now we still have his. We have all these giant carrots and potatoes and stuff
many vegetables.
in the fridge. That's all we have.
Oh my God, I don't want to eat them.
Yeah, and different gravies and stuff for his food because he was just a big baby and he knew that he could hold out and get what he wanted. So.
Oh my gosh! And I was medicating him with pain medications and prescription products, and Corey was medicating him with food. So.
Oh yeah. Milk,
Bubba
bones,
ate
and vegetables.
like a king for the last few weeks here.
Yeah,
so.
and literally it just came down to he was just elderly. I mean, he was beyond geriatric for a long time, which is good for him because he really did get around on his own to the last couple of days there. And he was like pushing 200 pounds. Like he was a big dog, and his head especially, even when we first got him, we're like, this guy's head is like 35 pounds, like legit. It was huge. And so his body just gave out on him. And of all the dogs, it was just, that was the easiest one to not let go of, but the easiest end.
Well, like Corey said, we knew that we had been kind of treating every day as a bonus day for the last year, really. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't mean that we didn't want a few more or still want them with us, but it was time.
Yeah.
And before we lose it in the chat, I wanted to say condolences to you, Jamie and Vicky. Their dogs passed away recently as well.
Oh, did they? I'm so sorry, everybody.
It's never easy. We certainly shed some tears. I hope I'm cried out for now, but it definitely felt again like we got every day from him.
Yeah, and I think honestly we've been okay. The hardest part has been talking about it to other people because he was a big presence. All of our friends and family loved Bubba. I mean, he was just so there and recognizable. I mean, when we started this channel, it was really Linda G and Annette and Psychic Talk and Metaphysical Talk. And as we all got to know each other, it was really Bubba's channel.
That's what
people wanted
Christian
Bubba
said,
mugs and Bubba, like, we get it. And
no, Crafty Lady said Bubba was the star of the show.
Yeah. And so, which was really cool. So obviously we have a lot of other stuff going on. We have the house construction, which is going to be happening through the winter. Of course we're going to have dogs again. Just not immediately because we don't want to bring a dog into 2 houses and a construction site and all that kind of stuff. So, and we kind of have to get our own stuff in order too. So I do want to say also, Mayor, and I can send this along to you too. I'm sure you saw, there were hundreds and hundreds of sweet notes that you've all passed along to us. I've gotten them here on the YouTube channel, in emails and all that, read every single one of them. It was awesome. We see the comments tonight. It means a ton. Honestly, that was actually the toughest part for me because I was, I've kind of been saying my goodbyes to Bub for like 4 to 6 weeks because we just kind of knew every day was a gift with him, and it was still. And then he had like these 3 kick-ass weeks in the middle of August where he bounced back. Like, is this guy really going to bounce back now and be with us for the holidays?
It was great that he did.
And then it ended really quickly, which was okay. So anyway,
it's odd that he improved. Like, he was back to normal after a bad episode.
It was kind of normal.
And pumping pillows and it was great to have that. I think we got falsely optimistic, but it was still awesome to see. And even like right towards the end, I decided to change his meds a little bit, and the change actually, he was back to normal for 2 days with that as well. But it was only 2 days, but it was a really good 2 days.
Yeah.
And I'll take that over, him having suffered, but yeah, it's different without him here.
Yeah.
This is a small house to begin with, but when Bubba was here, he had such a physical presence, of course, but even just his emotional presence. I mean, everything about him, our whole lives were directed towards his comfort, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just odd to have time now
Yeah.
and space and, don't
You know
know what
what's
to
weird?
do with it.
I haven't had to change my clothes during the day
Yeah.
because of his
Right.
slobber.
Yeah.
I would literally have to bring two changes of clothes with me if I had to go out and do shoots or whatever, because whenever Bub ate, which was often, it almost felt like his way of thanking you was to just bury his head all over you and slobber you and then get a little more, It's just kind of what he did. So I was constantly changing clothes, or I would always just wear grubby clothes because, you're playing with, plus he shedded like crazy. And so anyway, it was weird, especially doing the final cleanup and all that stuff too, because not only do you lose a dog, but you lose such a big dog. So his bowl is that big, his bed is this big, the mattress is
the queen
this
mattress
big.
in the living room, it took up the whole space. So
Yeah.
And Libra lady had lost her cat recently.
So sorry.
Francie talking about the aura of her first dog was 5 pounds, but the aura just filled the room. And that's like, he had just such a presence about him in more ways than physical. So I think one of our nice memories with him will be, I actually got in touch. We've been in touch sporadically, but with his first owner who lived down in Connecticut. That's where I went and adopted him. And I reached out to him to let him know that Bubba wasn't doing well. And he actually, dropped everything and drove up to visit him. And, Bubba was a fairly stoic dog, didn't necessarily betray a lot of emotion, but he definitely remembered him.
Yeah, it was nice.
And they had a cute little 2-year-old girl that came with him. And
he was awesome with kids. So.
Bubba really perked up when they were here, which that actually was Tuesday night. Tuesday
night.
Yeah, and it was nice to see that. It was nice for him, the former owner, to see Bubba, and for Bubba to have that as well, because I mean that was the first 4 years of his life spent with that family. Yeah. So
and to show you how Bubba's mind works is, so he got all the snacks and treats he wanted. So did the 2-year-old when she was here. She knew where all of our snacks were within 30 seconds. It was amazing. So then after the visit, now Bub couldn't really prop himself up to walk around at that point anymore without a lot of help or time. But he would get wound up whenever we had guests. So he had propped himself up and was moving around okay. And once they left, he went outside, and the first thing he did was he hightailed it for a rabbit. I was like, Bubba, how?
God, he had a good night that night.
Yeah, so he had that was his last hurrah there. And then that was that. So it was good that he got to see some final guests and
I think they really loved it as well, being able to see him.
Yeah.
So
that was sweet. So thanks again for all your thoughts. And we'll do something for Bub somewhere down the line. You want to show his paw print?
Oh yeah. So we did get his ashes came back. I picked them up today, and then my work had made a paw impression. It might be too bright with the lights.
You can hold it up. I can angle it for you.
Made a paw impression. I loved his paws. I love seeing his footprints in the snow and how big they were. So they made a nice paw print for us, and
it's got his name down there.
We
too.
have
You
that
can't
to
see
keep.
it because of the print.
Yeah, it's bright with the lights, but
it's a big paw, folks.
Sent some lovely
almost flowers as big as my head.
For us too. So we've been getting lots of love and support, and the paw print is nice.
Yeah. Now, in other news, it hasn't been an easy summer. Obviously, we changed things up last winter and spring, and started doing different things on the channel. We started redoing our home in Gloucester. We're living in this temporary home right now, with the idea of turning that basement into a home's TV studio, and that's still on. And luckily Meredith's back in there now, actually framing the building. The exterior is done. It's weather tight. Yeah, and so she's doing that, and we're just waiting for the siding and maybe a window or two to be popped in. But other than that, Mara's doing her own thing on the inside. I've just kind of been holding the fort down here. In the meantime, so I will say other things going on in my life though is I've had a lot of family issues lately. My mom was vacationing with my dad over in England last week, and the night that we put Bubba down Thursday morning, and that night she had a heart attack while in England. So that came completely out of the blue. And luckily, her best friend lives there. They're with her best friend and her husband. Um, so they're okay. But the fact that it happened on a Thursday night meant and it wasn't a massive episode, it was an episode, but not a massive one, is that she actually was in limbo at the hospital until Monday when they did a stint and put a couple balloons into a second artery. So anyway, that was also going on. There's been a couple other big incidents that happened before that too. So it's just been like one hit after the other, all kind of within 2 months, on top of the house construction and everything. So that's why, just another reason why we haven't been on. We kept thinking, especially when we knew Bub was in his last month, that we definitely wanted to come on and share Bub with everybody. We didn't want you to see Bub like in a poor state. And he had a couple great days there, but there was just so many other things going on that it was too hard for us to pull off. So that's that. So my mom's doing all right. She's still in England. She has to stay there for a couple weeks. I don't know if any of you ever see the stuff that I do with a local cable station. I do every now and then like a live broadcast in a almost like a Today Show style show. We call it Cape Ann Today after our area. And I have a co-host named Heather, who you may have seen of some of those broadcasts. Heather's husband is a cardiologist who was actually my grandparents' cardiologist, and my mom knew him well. So this is how blessed we are, is we're close with him, and he was able to call and text with her back and forth to help walk her through some appropriate questions and things about medication and recovery period and all that kind of stuff too. So,
Nice.
So that was great.
Yeah, she's doing fine.
Yeah. And in the meantime, while all that was going, like before Bubba and all that, we actually did get to spend some time in Colorado. I can't remember if we've been on since. I did a picture post, but I don't know if you've come on and talked.
No, that was great. So yeah, on the positive side, there's been some trials in that, but on the positive side, we had some friends visiting in July who were staying here, and that really pushed me to finish off the basement in this house because we needed the space. Up here is only 900 some square feet. And with Bubba and the 3 additional people with your friend, wife, and daughter staying here, we figured having the basement to retreat to was going to be nice. So that really was a push for me to finish off the basement. It needed paint and flooring and all that.
Needed a basement.
Yeah. So I was really pushing hard to finish that before their visit, which happened. The visit was very nice. We had a really great time with them. We played tourist in Boston for a day and tourist around Cape Ann, did a whale watch, all sorts of fun stuff.
The beach day was awesome.
Went to the beach with our friends from here. So that was great. Shortly after that, the second part of the construction started at the Gloucester house, which we had a pause while our contractor did some other jobs, but he just showed up again, which was again great. But a little bit of a surprise to then have to be working with him on some of the things going on at that house, but it's doing awesome. And right at the same time, I was getting our apartment building ready to be sold. It had been under contract and the closing date was at the end of July. So I had to do some cleanup there, yard work, just make sure all the paperwork was done for that. So that's why my July was an absolute whirlwind. Corey's July, you were sick for quite a bit of it after the 4th.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do all this stuff and also make sure that he's doing okay. And then our trip happened. And
then Bub happened, and then you got COVID. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, but
you didn't get it bad.
No, it was a day of really bad and then just had to be isolated again for a bit. But yeah, apartment building sold, which was great. The construction at the house is going really well. The exterior is framed and we're just waiting on siding, but we do have a roof and it's all fairly weather tight other than the siding. So that means that I get to frame the interior walls, which is one of my favorite things to do. It's like a big jigsaw puzzle to me. So I've been framing all the interior walls and we'll soon have a plumber and electrician, HVAC people in to get their work going. So that's going very well.
Yeah.
So we have had some positive things in the midst of some not so positive things, but
Yeah.
you know, that's life.
Yeah, and I'm lucky we got on tonight because what happened is we knew that we knew Bub was probably going to happen last week, so I rearranged my schedule to pile it onto this week, and then my mom happened. And I'll tell you how fresh all this is. We didn't start telling people because, for one, we weren't sure what condition my mom was in and when the treatment was going to take place and how she would react to it. So, and we didn't want to worry friends and family and acquaintances and business associates and all that back here. So we kept quiet about it. So now it's like a handful of relatives know. Our friends don't know yet. You guys know.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. And if there's any, I don't know if there's any locals in the chat. That probably not. But so that's so.
Yeah, she's gonna be fine.
Oh yeah. And once one domino falls, it's 900 things. So I've had to cancel like a dozen shoots. I'm literally in the middle of canceling like 3 more. I've got a big day tomorrow. Then I can kind of relax and figure out next week too. Because the other thing too, it's election season, and I cover that for the city back home and for the local cable company. I'm pretty much host all that coverage. Lots of debates and forums and live coverage on election night. And there's a ton of people running this year. So my next 6 weeks are going to be stupid, basically until November 7th. So it's kind of like I said last winter. There are 2 key dates that I look at on the calendar every year when it comes to these kind of broadcasts. It's spring forward and fall back. And I think once we fall back, then I'll have dedicated time to the channel like I used to. Because it's weird. Like we were out in Colorado, we were in Celtic Tarot Sheila's hometown for a little bit. If we had breathing time and space, I would have hit her up and see if we could grab a coffee or something. Old guy was a ways away from us.
Right. No, he's on the other side of the state.
He's on the other side. But we're still in the same state, which is kind of interesting.
We did go to Red Rocks, though. We saw where he did the electric at Red Rocks.
Yeah. Yep. So that was cool. So anyway, yeah, but pretty insane. Like 2023, it's just been one of those years, and this summer was just crazy. And so fingers crossed, hope everything works out now. And like I said, my mom's on the mend, so thanks for your thoughts there. We all miss Bubba. I'm glad we had him for as long as we had him, and you guys got to know him for a bit. And so we'll remember him in different ways as we do different shows moving forward too. We still love the idea of doing that pet show or something with the animal shelter. That's definitely on the docket. So there's that.
Yeah. And if people have questions, I'm happy to answer, but I don't know if anyone has pet questions of their own tonight. We just more wanted to just come on again and chat with you guys because it's been so long.
Yeah, we miss you guys, honestly. We talk about it like during the week, like, hey, we should go on and start talking to people again. And I try to do the best I can, answer people in emails or whatever, but it's just been a little overwhelming for a bit too. Oh, Jamie, you're in Utah? We've done Utah in the past. We love Utah.
Beautiful state. We went to, my family does a trip every year, every summer, where we choose, to all meet, because I have 2 sisters who have husbands and kids, and then my parents. One of my sisters is in Columbus, Ohio. The other has moved to Des Moines. So we try to pick a place that we can all meet. And usually it's on a lake or sometimes the ocean. But we did a little different this year. We went out to Colorado, which was absolutely beautiful. We did a lot of sightseeing that it was different in that way. Usually we're relaxing on a boat or in the water somewhere, but we were driving all around Colorado. So we went down to... what's the big mountain? Oh, Pikes Peak. Oh my gosh. We went down to Pikes Peak, did the Cog Railroad up to the top of that, which...
Not our favorite.
Oh my gosh. 14,000 feet above sea level?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sheer drops.
I was lightheaded up there.
It was cool, but
it was beautiful scenery, but man, definitely you feel it with the elevation. And then another day we went to Rocky Mountain National Park.
That was awesome. Also scary.
Yeah. You're driving on the edges of these sheer cliffs. And then did some sightseeing around Denver and Red Rocks, and so it was a very fun trip, beautiful state, but definitely different at that elevation. We were staying in Breckenridge, which was, also high above sea level. I didn't feel it as much there.
It's pretty out there, though.
Yeah, very pretty. So anyway, just trying to keep up with the chat too. I'm sorry if we've missed anybody.
Oh, there's old guy.
Oh, old
Hi.
guy.
I probably missed a bunch of names because
we were definitely tourists, old guy. You would have picked us out.
That was very yes. Honestly, old guy, what happened is Mare has some family who hadn't been to Colorado before, and they kind of put the itinerary together. And it was like 5 jam-packed days of we're going to see the entire state of Colorado in 5 days. Now, we had already spent time out there before. I lived out there for a little bit, like 6 months or so. So I'd been to a lot of those spots in the past, but it was awesome to see again. But it wasn't like a restful vacation. We were literally on the go the entire time. And we spent a couple of nights.
4 hours in the car every day.
Yeah, we were in St. Louis for a few days before then, too, which was cool as well.
Yeah.
So.
But we admired your work at Red Rocks, old guy. The electrical was fantastic.
Yeah.
There was a show there. We just went during the day to see it. There was a show that night. I don't remember who was playing, but
Government Mule.
Oh, okay. They were starting to do some cleanup, but we got to hike around it and see, the stage. I'd love to see a show there.
Yeah, it's nice.
It was beautiful.
So anyway, I think David Bent was in there. Hi, David, Linda, Don. Good to see you all. Thanks. You'll probably want to watch the beginning of the show for the first 15 minutes to get the lowdown on what we've been up to and why. So I don't know what's going to happen next. Like, I know, like, Jilly Beans has reached out here and there to do another show. We're just getting our bearings back here and seeing what's... I got to figure out when I can get back into the basement to start fitting out for the studio. We're working with a couple of electricians now. I'm going to have a breakfast with my tech crew sooner than later to talk about that stuff. We'll have a better idea there. I don't know what the weekly schedule is here. The Viewer's Choice Award, that'll be back too. I have gift cards for local places here and for people to shop and all that as well. I always feel bad about that stuff. I mean, people have subscribed to things, and the newsletter still does very well for me, but it doesn't really pertain to like this channel really, since we started doing fewer shows, the metaphysical shows especially. But I will tailor it towards this channel, and we're gonna have a brand new Bridge Cape Ann website that'll help work with this channel as well. We'll probably have some bridge gear finally. So that's kind of all in the works. We just kind of had to put things on the back burner for a couple of months. But the website's still being worked on with Lene, which is awesome. The house is progressing nicely. Tech is on standby, so it's all good. So I'm excited. I will definitely be picking your brains between now and then on certain things that you folks think would work as far as programs, or I'll bounce my ideas off of you and see what your feedback is, because that'll help inform how what my next steps are. So be wary of that. It's coming around the corner sooner than later, I hope. But my next 6 weeks are probably going to be, I am finishing up another one of my mini documentaries too. And it is on this house made entirely of paper in Rockport, Massachusetts. Very cool. This quirky Swedish engineer built 100 years ago to experiment and see if paper could withstand the elements, and if treated newspaper could be readable years later. It's an interesting story. I think you're going to like it. It's not nearly as long as that 72-minute Howard Blackburn piece, which is, I actually missed a showing this week at Cape Ann Cinema. Wow. But that will hopefully, maybe that'll be out within 2 weeks or so. I'll keep you guys posted, but that's been nice to work on. And then once that's done, I'm literally have my head in the sand until November 7th, working on local election stuff. But I do have more time now to do things. I mean, not that Bub addled my time, but
no,
it ate up some time.
Yeah, no, we wanted to spend time with him, so we didn't want to leave the house. Yeah. And I don't want to come off poorly when I say this, but Labor Day weekend was a big weekend here in Gloucester with, it's the Schooner Festival. So these gorgeous tall ships come into harbor and they do a race, and there were fireworks, and it was the 400th anniversary this year of the town or city. So we're looking forward to that. And then that was the weekend that he took a turn for the worse. So easy decision to stay home with him, but I, missed a little bit of the not being
it
able to go
was
to
weird.
Schooner
It was
Fest,
like
so.
82 and sunny the entire
Yeah, it was a
long
gorgeous
weekend.
weekend. Yeah.
And actually, that Schooner Festival, it's almost as big as the St. Peter's Fiesta that I do my live
Yeah.
broadcast from. But whatever. I mean, that wasn't even. What can you do about it? We had to be full-time parents for Bub.
It was fine. It just, that was it seemed like a very nice event. But someone commented that Jill is actually streaming right now. So,
good.
So we didn't mean to compete with her, but yeah, her site, Angela put, it's Wisdom of Three Beyond the Veil and Sharp Lisa. So if
good.
people want to check that out, we won't take offense, but and then Lucretia came on and said hi and said that she misses Bubba, and we do too.
Thank you, Sean and Francie and everybody else. If I didn't say hello first time around, so that's it. So we're just filling in folks tonight, getting caught up with everybody. I'll figure out, like Christian and Old Guy, when I can pop back on a Tuesday night again or whatever makes sense for everybody. We'll figure it out. I think we're going to be kind of busy for the next week or two. But I want to be doing this way more often. So that's the hope. Francie, you want to go to Gloucester next year? You should.
Francie. It's beautiful here.
Yeah.
So most of my family has come out to visit, but one sister and her husband and their 2 kids have not. So I spent a lot of our time in Colorado convincing them that they needed to come out, which I hope they do within the next year, because my niece has an adorable little almost 2-year-old that I would love to get to show around the area. So yeah, we'll see if we can make that happen. But it is beautiful. Anyone, you should come and visit, and we'll give you lots of recommendations on what to see and what to avoid.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of people
traps.
From the channel have come and visited already, which is really cool.
That's great.
I think people from, like, someone from New York went and saw Patricia at the Azorium. And they treated her like she was a Hollywood star. So she was freaked out a little bit, but she liked it.
I mean, but I'm sure she enjoyed it.
Yeah, she did. But I think they stayed for like an hour and a half after Patricia's shift talking to her. And Patricia had to go.
That's awesome.
That was cool. I'm with her tomorrow, by the way.
Before I forget, I saw Seacat's name. I thought about Seacat
Aloha.
when the fires happened.
Oh, yes.
We're trying to remember if you were on Maui or not, but I hope everything's okay out in Hawaii.
Yeah, Seacat, let us
if you're
know.
still here, just type something in the chat and let us know how things are going out there. That was happening at the time we were in Colorado, and my parents had been out to Maui many times. That was their favorite spot to vacation, and they would stay in Lahaina, and so they knew a lot of where the fires were and what had been affected. So let us know if you're still here, how things are going out there.
Yeah. I was so unplugged when that happened that we were during that vacation, and my brother-in-law and I, we just popped into a bar for a quick beer, like lunchtime. They have a beer, right?
Quick beer.
Well, turned into
My word.
And then some guy came in who was from the area and saying, "Have you seen the news?" and all this stuff. So that's how I found out about it. And then that turned into, we were raising glasses for folks in Maui. Old Guy says there's a wasp nest in the woods completely made out of paper. So Old Guy, literally almost within arm's reach, we have one in our maple tree right out here. It's huge.
We're just ignoring it and waiting for it to go away this winter.
Yeah, Mary gets spooked by stuff like that.
I hate bees and wasps, but.
Let's see. Francie needs recommendations. Yeah, you just let us know what you're into, but we can give you a handful of places that you definitely want to check out. The Hammond Castle is always nice. I actually I heard, so I'm doing a show at Hammond Castle soon for the cable station. I did hear that Annette is doing an event at Hammond Castle this fall. Good. The castle, I'm pretty tight with them. So they talked to me about that. So unless she's talked about that on her channel, you guys can check that out too. The Sleeper McCann House would be cool. There's a bunch of places you can check out when you come to visit. Yeah, but let us know. Jamie, your mother visited here. I loved her visit years ago. If that's what you're talking about. We'll see. Nayrod, good to see you, buddy.
Dawn asked how far we are from Newport. I'm assuming Newport, Rhode Island, you mean? Which it's what? I've been, when I went on vacation, it's less than 2 hours.
Yeah, about a couple hours.
Yeah, depending on traffic, but less than 2 hours.
Old guy, no, we have not run out of honey
No.
yet, but we love honey.
Yeah.
Your bees are going crazy again. That's awesome. Hey, so old guy, do paper wasps, do they do anything? I mean, they seem relatively harmless. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure it's good for the environment in one way or another, but
Well, that's why we left this nest alone, is we heard that they're harmless and they don't sting, and
yeah.
so we've just let it be. Sharp Lisa asked if we're keeping an eye on Hurricane Lee. So I've been looking. It seems like it's going to be east of us and maybe be worse for Maine and up into the eastern shore of Canada. We're certainly expecting rain and winds here. Some people are pulling their boats just to be safe, but we don't think it's going to be, at least unless it changes track. It's not going to hit here as a hurricane. We did get a tropical storm warning today. I saw that in my weather app, but yeah, it shouldn't be any worse than a typical nor'easter that we get.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that bad. It just, if it tracks just a nudge to the west a little bit, we might get something. Like we're still going, it'll be sustained 35-mile-per-hour winds and another inch or two of rain, maybe. But it looks like Friday that's going to happen Saturday. Friday and Sunday look gorgeous.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
We've lucked out in that regard so far. Old guy says no, they sting like crazy.
Okay, so Cat said she's safe on the Big Island. She lives on the Big Island, and the fires were contained. Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that. I always think about people I know in different places, and we know that you were in Hawaii. So,
Yeah.
What was I going to say about Lee, Hurricane Lee?
I don't know.
I
You
had
tell me.
something in my head, but it
Did
went
you?
away. It happens a lot.
No, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be fine.
Sean wants us to broadcast from Halibut Point for like, even like where Heather lives,
That'd be
like
fun.
Folly Cove, they get battered with storms over there.
Yeah.
But really, like the Eastern Point Lighthouse would be even better for Lee, it seems. But we'll see. I used to actually have on the old website a guy that just did weather forecasts, like on location, and he was like a weather nut, and those people are crazy, and they like standing in the middle of knee-deep water and blizzards and
Oh,
holding on to
gosh.
street signs and stuff. So it was
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah. Francie said if we get cold enough to kill hornets' nests. I think we do. That's kind of what we're waiting for, is just winter will take care of it for us, I hope. We had another one in our front bushes, last year? And that one I did have to do something about, because the poor mailman had to walk by it every day. But the one out back is actually hanging in, it's way up in the tree and it's not bothering us. So we're going to leave it for now. But an old guy said he's not allergic to the stings, he's allergic to the pain.
Yeah, those things hurt. I got chewed up by wasp in Colorado.
Yeah. Oh, you did? Yeah.
There was a nest underneath the deck.
Oh, right.
walking
Under
out
the front stairs. Yeah. My brother-in-law that lives in Iowa now, they just moved to Des Moines, and his son, my nephew, do beekeeping. So, they advise me they help me with the nest out front, and they send us honey as well, old guy. So we can do a taste test for Colorado versus Iowa honey. See which is better.
Yeah. We have local honey too. But yeah, awesome stuff. So in case you're tuning in, hi, I'm Corey and she's Meredith. We live together, as a matter of fact. And we're just getting people caught up on what's been going on this summer, why we've been so quiet. Obviously, you don't see something big and furry on the couch behind us. So we just remembered Bub for a little bit there too. So you can watch the beginning of tonight's video for a little bit, just so you can get clued in on all the things going on. Not an easy time, but this makes it easier being together and hanging out with all of you for a bit and catching up too. I'm not sure what the next steps are for the channel. The TV studio at the home is going to start being worked on sooner than later. Electricals first, clean it out and all that kind of crap, and get down to the nitty gritty. So I don't know. I can't project if we'll be living in there till spring, but we may be able to be doing shows from there before spring, because I think once the weather turns, we'll be able to dedicate some real time over there, putting things together. It's always easy for me. I like the winter and fall, actually.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
feel
it's
like I can
beautiful
get
here.
ahead of the game.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
Good.
No, I was going to say, I'm kind of hoping that this hurricane or tropical storm or whatever it turns out to be brings the humidity down a little bit, because it's been so humid. And working at the house doing the framing, it's not insulated. There's no HVAC or AC or anything yet. So It's been tough some days when it's 85, 90 and humid to actually work there. So I hope the humidity comes down after the hurricane.
Yeah, we usually don't get a crazy humidity, and and actually it's really been like a dew point around 70 or so for a couple straight months, which is pretty uncomfortable. So I'm looking forward to sweatshirt weather. That's my favorite weather of the year anyway. So actually I'm liking summer's less and less because of the humidity, to be honest.
Well, it's just getting hotter too.
Yeah.
We're definitely, so this summer cemented the decision to put AC in the new house, or not, it's not new, but the remodeled house, because there aren't that many days that you actually do need it, but we're putting it in.
Yeah.
There was enough this year to tell us that we need it in the years going forward.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get cooler in the years coming. So, Sean, is it hard to do shows in remote locations? If you want live, yes. The best I could ever do for that is literally with my phone, and I've done a million of them. The hope is with the studio part of the show, at least, is to have a tech who could be actually directing remotely, or we could have someone on hand there with us. And they do all kinds of shows. It'll be, Meredith and I can do a show, like you said, about pet care, or, whatever we're going to end up doing. But we also might try to do some sort of local Letterman kind of show where there could be an artist or a musician or musicians as well. We're going to have a little bar down there. We could have guests over to be on, whatever. There's 100 different ideas we have for the kinds of shows we can do. But it's just a matter of getting the tech part down and then really sort of building up the channel from scratch again. So that's my guess. And I'm at this weird pivot point where I've been doing the bridge for 10 or 11 years now, and so used to running around with my phone and shooting video, coming home, editing, and putting it on 5 different platforms. And those days are dead. So the hope is for the next 10 years of the bridge, people can come to me and we can get to learn them at a much deeper level, or learn more about them and, about who they are. There could be some cool little home shopping network kind of angles to things where like Pauline could bring a few things on, or Vinny with a scrapbook. He has antique prints and maps, which are awesome. I think you guys would really enjoy. Auction Wally always has cool ephemera and stuff. Like, I think those could be kind of fun shows for us too. And obviously you're a very engaged audience, and we're all sort of in this together. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm looking forward to getting into this fall and winter. So I know I started talking this up more than a year ago, right? Probably at this point. And
when we were starting the construction.
So it's time to get going on that. So
well, and we definitely, I don't anticipate being able to move back home until we're shooting for spring. Because if we do end up selling this house, spring would be the best time for that. So we're hoping, and I think that's realistic. The house is not going to be fully finished by then, but if we have one functional bedroom and bathroom and kitchen, and it's,
we don't require much.
Corey and I totally understand. I don't like it either, but he doesn't want to live with it as a construction zone, which I get, because I am very messy when I do construction. So I don't clean up every day, and he hates, that's why with this house, it was great because I finished the first floor before we moved in here. And then, we had this floor to live on, and then I was able to work downstairs, and that was, separate from where he was. So once the house is livable, I'll still have some painting and tile work and, finish stuff to do, but as long as our space is done and functional, I think it'll be fine. So we're shooting for spring. We actually talked about doing a walkthrough up there at some point.
Yeah.
But that would be you shooting on your phone, because...
Well, that's fine to do that.
Yeah. And if people are interested and wanted to see, we could just do a little walkthrough, show you how it is now and what what we've been doing and what our plans are. So that would be a remote shoot. Sean had asked, but that would be on your phone. Yeah,
the tough thing, Sean, it's like we're just up in the production value. So like any other podcast, whatever you see on a YouTube channel, it is kind of look like TV on YouTube, multiple cameras, graphics, things like that. Like, so that's the hope. And that's becoming easier and easier for people to do on their own these days. But I do like the idea of having a crew involved, just to, like, I don't know, expand the family. They're as enthusiastic about doing this sort of thing as I am. I think it would just be a cool little thing we could build here. And then hopefully that leads to some nice numbers here on YouTube and Facebook, wherever we hit our local audience, maybe sponsorships and things like that, because I want to be paying folks to not only work with us, but then the idea would be to pay local artists and musicians or whatever to be on and contribute. So that's the hope. And that's kind of where I'm hoping the bridge goes for the next 10 years. So anyway, that's the pipe dream right now. It's going to happen. So it's just a matter of when it happens.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
We've had some detours, but it's coming along really well, and I'm very happy with how it looks. What did I text you early in the week? I'll leave out the profanity, but it was about how, blank awesome this house is going to be, just because I was excited about how the framing was going.
Yeah.
So it's also going to be 10 times the space that we need.
I don't know. We might need the space.
Yeah. I'm going to live on the second floor, and Corey will live on the first floor.
And the basement. You can get the attic. How's that? You like it's warm up there for you.
Oh gosh, not in the summer. But yeah, we were going over the kitchen today and the planning for that. And our kitchen here, we have 10 cabinets, and 2 of them are completely empty. We don't have a lot of stuff. So we're going to be
living large.
Yeah.
Legit.
We'll have to get lots of visitors to fill the house up.
That's another dozen rooms for you to clean.
Oh,
You think you can handle that?
cleaning.
You're not going to clean.
No, we'll close the door on those rooms.
Yeah. So if you're just tuning in, folks, it is 8 minutes to Yoon.
I know, we got to stay on till 8.
Yeah. Now Yoon did reach out at one point when I mentioned Bubba, and she just asked what had happened. So now she can find out, because she always rewatches these. But I haven't seen or heard from Yoon in a while, so it's nice to see her around.
Yeah.
Although she did tell me to go on vacation for the summer.
Well, it
couple of
wasn't
months ago.
intentional or planned, but we kind of did. Just
Hey, Sean, this channel isn't going to take off without any of you. Trust me, because we're literally starting from scratch. So I think we went from like 0 to 7,800 and a couple Linda G in Annette videos, and now we're just kind of like,
no,
we're in that area.
But you always said, have you always said is you want a small but dedicated audience. A small but devoted audience is better than a huge audience where no one actually really
I've never believed
cares.
these numbers at all, so.
This is nice. And we always know who's going to be here and be involved. And quite honestly, when Bubba was getting sick, I really, really did want to get him on, because I knew that people would want to see him again.
Yeah,
and
I want to see him again.
One of the first people I thought of was Damon, because I know he loved, I know everyone does, but he always just commented about Bubba. And so it was just sad to not be able to do that, but he just, we couldn't, not with the way he was at the end. It would have been, I think, too stressful for him too.
Yeah, there might have been one day there in August when we could have jumped on quickly, but
the best day would have been the Wednesday when I got COVID.
Well,
and it was actually Wednesday that I took the test, because we were going to do it that night because I wasn't feeling terrible. But then we heard that a lot of our friends had gotten COVID. And so I decided to take a test, and it was positive. And so it was that night.
And then you got sick. You had a pretty good,
you
were pretty good for a few days.
Yeah, but that would have been the best night because he was feeling good then. So it just, something in the universe didn't want that to happen.
That's okay. Hey, that's what the videos are there for, the old video. So there's plenty of.
Oh my God.
You can go back and watch all those potatoes and carrots get devoured.
I would watch his 10-year or 10th birthday party.
Would you?
Oh my God, of course I would.
It's still there.
I watch videos of my great nephew over and over. I watch videos of Bubba over and over. It's comfort.
So, folks, what's on your minds tonight? It's good catching up with everyone. It seems like everyone's doing okay for the most part, which is nice to hear. I've dreamt about Bubba every night, as a matter of fact, which is odd, because before Bubba, I was actually I still dream about Bella.
Yeah.
Every now and then too, which is odd. Yeah. Though a tough part for me is, what's weird is we had our dogs at the Gloucester house. We come back here in February, and it's still weird. Like when I do work back at the house and I'm in the yard, that's when I think about
Yeah.
Bella or even Bub. Like it's really when I think about Bella because she was in the yard all the time.
Yeah.
And that's almost tougher there. And it's hard to place, like you can't place her here.
Yeah, she never lived
And
here.
with Bub, it's harder to place him back in Gloucester now because we've been here for a bit, and the house is completely different.
Yeah.
All the furniture's gone.
And he would have struggled with the stairs there. So I
Oh,
think
yeah.
things worked out as they were meant
Yeah.
to. Again, I hope that doesn't come out wrong, but it just he was
Yeah,
was going to struggle with the stairs there.
Like even today, we put the last of the old couch out to the trash
Yeah,
today, and
that
that
he
was
destroyed.
one of the couches Bub completely destroyed.
Yeah.
So
And our neighbors up there have all commented on how they missed seeing him in the yard since we moved here.
oh yeah,
And when they found out he passed, they were sad that he wasn't gonna, be back and running around in the yard.
Yeah, even just terrorizing them, they missed that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. We have to let the mailman know up there. He hated the mailman and she tried so hard. She was determined to make friends with him and he would just bark at her and just,
Yeah.
and I haven't seen her to tell her, but she's gonna be sad.
Yeah, I haven't seen her either for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because back in his younger years, Bub could literally jump over the deck railing, and then when he got a little older, he couldn't, but he could get his paws up
Yeah.
there and terrorize. But
Yeah,
he
he would-
jumped over the deck gate onto the platform when you weren't there.
Yeah,
me and
he
Duper were there,
did.
so
Oh
he
my God,
could.
I can't believe he did that. But yeah, the way we had it, there were steps to go up inside and a little platform area with just a railing around it. And then the mailbox was right down at ground level next to it. And he would get up on the railing and just bark down at the mailman. And I can't even imagine how terrifying that
Like
would
this close.
Yeah, like
He
to
was
have
that
this
close to him.
enormous dog just barking at you. But she was great. He's gonna be my friend.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the heart to tell her, no, he's
Well,
not.
and the bummer is if anyone just walked on, onto our deck for the, like, especially a woman or into the house, Bubba was fine with you. If you were a big guy that sort of overshadowed him and came up from the outside of the property to the property line, he wanted to murder you. So
Well, yeah. And then as soon as you got in, he was like, all right, you're cool.
Yeah.
It was very odd.
yeah, he was okay.
But
If
he
you
was
were
never-
if you got in the house, then you were cool.
Yeah. Delivery men, anybody bringing things to the house, he knew.
Mm-hmm.
And he hated them.
Even the last couple of weeks here, when he was kind of down and out, like he couldn't really jump up like he used to, I would leave the windows open and the screen door to our front door open, just so whenever he heard FedEx or UPS come down, he would go bananas.
Yeah. That would perk him up.
It would get him going. I just wanted to see him animated, have another shot of adrenaline go through.
He'd hear the truck going down the street.
Yeah, or kids on bicycles,
Yeah,
anything like
yeah.
that, he'd get crazy for.
The ice
so.
cream truck.
It was good. So I don't even think really most of our neighbors of the street knows because they're so used to just seeing his head in the picture window, terrorizing people, barking from afar. But it's been quieter for a week now, so I'm sure folks are on to it.
Yeah,
but-
and school's starting again. The neighborhood's gotten very quiet in the last couple weeks. Just the kids are not running around.
It's nice out here. And what's funny too is our next door neighbors actually have, what is it, a tabby cat, an orange cat?
Yeah.
And you got to know her when you were working on the house before we actually moved in here, and she would visit. And then obviously she wasn't around at all when Bubba was here. Like we might see her across the street creeping in the neighbor's yard. But now that Bub's gone, she's actually back hanging out in our yard
she's
again.
in the yard again. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Well, she sleeps under our vehicles. We have to be on the lookout
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
So that's it. So okay, it's just about Uniclock. So that's the latest. So I can tell you right now. So we're gonna try to do this, at least catch up with folks. I don't know what the next show is. Like I don't know if it makes sense to have Jilly come over with things so upside down still. Or like there's still Celtic Tarot Sheila, there's still Deborah Loopy, and there's people we've done shows with in the past. And I don't know what the next turn is. I'm really hoping to get a couple answers on the electrical situation and the tech situation for that home studio soon. And I think that's kind of it for now.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So-
know, low key night, but we just wanted to let everyone know what was going on and just check in because we miss talking with everyone in the chat. We miss it too.
Yeah, and honestly, I know that Christian and Old Guy will always pop on to a show on camera with me. Would anyone else out there want to do that sometime? You can pop on with me and Christian and Old Guy if you want. But we got a little Bridge Buddy Roulette if we want to do that at some point too. I'm always hopeful of, and I'll let you guys know, even if we're just popping on and doing this for another hour just to hang out and catch up and keep that line of communication going. We can do that too. Obviously, we're missing a lot of key names from our chat tonight, but I'm hoping that they can view this or participate the next time we do this. So we'll pencil in this time next week, just to pencil it in, and then hopefully we can spend a little more time together. In the meantime, I'm going to be finishing up the Paper House documentary and get that out sooner than later. And honestly, I think that's kind of it for now. I gotta juggle my schedule for a little bit here too, because I was supposed to do, I think, 2 or 3 other live events through the weekend, and between the hurricane and the Bubba and my mom and the other family stuff, there's like 20 balls in the air right now. So we'll catch them one way or another.
Yeah.
So
I wish you would come on.
Well, we can still wait. We can just sit here and stare and wait for you.
Gosh.
I don't know if you knows that we're actually on, because I just kind of threw it in the community tab.
Yeah, it was a late notification
tonight. So what happened is, this happens all the time anyway. Yoon's gonna get notified at some point, and then we're gonna say goodnight and sign off, and then it's 8:00. It's Yoon 02 now, Eastern Coast, and at like Yoon 10, I'm gonna get an email. So sorry,
That's
just missed
fine.
you. We'll
That's
watch
fine.
replay now,
It's
and then I'll
still
get another
nice to
email
hear from
from
her.
her. So yeah.
So
okay, CCAT, we're glad that you're safe. We hope that your friends and family are as well. Sean, yeah, people have issues with the YouTube notifications. I don't get it. There's still an issue on that Bridge Cape Ann channel. I actually can't see the chat at all. I had to open another account to follow all of you tonight.
yeah,
So
we'll have to figure that out.
I'll look into that. I've been out of the YouTube loop for a bit, but I'll get back into it, so I promise. Thankful Mom, Christian, Annalie, great seeing all of you as always. Thanks for the wrenches, and every single one of you in the chat. I know almost all of you had sent messages when you heard about Bubba last week, and it carried us through the weekend, and we really appreciate it. We'll miss the guy, but we have those other shows, and at some point our family's going to grow again too, and so we're excited for that as well. So just grateful for the time we've had with him and with all of you, and onward and upward, right? Yeah. So thanks for your time. We'll be good. I know the Yoon thing's going to happen. But anyway, that's it. So I'll let you guys know in the community tab. Like I said, you don't need to sign up for the Bridge newsletter. If you want to, just email me at hello@bridgecapeann.com. It's mostly a list of local events. I haven't been able to really personalize it much. Every now and then there's a Bridge video in there. Actually, there's a cool video I did about 5 or 6 years ago with this, and it's on this channel. You don't have to go through the newsletter. He was a stained glass artist named Barry Richards, and he passed away a couple weeks ago. And he was a kick-ass architect too. Did really cool stained glass work. So if you want to check that video out, it's only like maybe 3 or 4 minutes long. That was from 2017. I'll have that link in the newsletter tomorrow. And every now and then I put something special in there. But Viewers' Choice Awards, they'll be coming back once maybe it's something from the Azorian. I'll be with Patricia tomorrow. Someplace where we can shop online. I'll figure that out too, because I owe you guys some drawings for sure.
Yes,
so we're going to have a handful of those drawings. Maybe next week we can rattle off some of those. So
did Cheryl ever get her?
No. So actually, I didn't see Cheryl's name tonight. I emailed Cheryl a couple weeks ago because I went to the post office. Cheryl won like the big package from Essex Birch up in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that you went and shopped for all that stuff.
We shopped for it, and but she's in Canada, and it got stopped at customs, and so like 2 months passed, and I went to the post office like, hey, here's all my tracking stuff, like what's going on? And they're like, well, it should have gone through. We think it's still stuck in customs. In Canada? Have Cheryl go back to her post office. It might actually be sitting there for her. Oh. So then I emailed Cheryl and said, hey, this is what the postal clerk just told me. If you have a chance, go back. She may live a ways from the post office. She's in remote Canada. I don't know. and just let me know.
Oh,
And I
there she is. You never got it.
what the Cheryl. All right. So they gave me a number, and maybe I can email it to you too. And I'll call tomorrow and see what happened because
Yeah.
my post office said it got delivered and it's at customs, but it hasn't gone from customs to your post office, and we don't know why. Like I was warned that there were all these hangups when you mail packages to Europe now, especially where it takes like 2 or 3 months just to get through. But they said Canada is fine. So
Francie's in Canada.
I checked the
She
post
would've
office.
gotten
They
it.
don't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you got to look into that.
So literally, let me show you this real quickly. This is my list of stuff to do. And you can see up here, right there, on this side, Essex package. Essex package is on my list.
Which was Essex Bird Shop.
Yeah. Well, that's just I have the receipt. I have the international number to call.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Sharpley has a good point. The border security dogs ate all the goodies out of it.
That's not out of the realm. There were some good things in there too.
There
All right, so
were.
Cheryl, I'll look into that for you. I'll email you as soon as possible. Okay, so that's it. So, all right, folks, thanks for spending time with us tonight. Meredith and I really appreciate it. It was cool seeing all those familiar names, and maybe we'll do this time next week. That'd be fun as well. So, and maybe we'll have some different sorts of news to share with you all.
Yes.
So. I've received many parcels from the USA. Yeah, I don't get it. It had to be something in that box. And I literally, Cheryl, listed every single item. I had to list everything that was in the box. And they were mostly, it was just toys. I didn't even think it was treats.
I know. I'm trying to remember.
So I don't know.
We'll look into it.
Yeah, I know, Cheryl, but it's still like it shouldn't have happened. I mean,
what's up with Canada? Exactly.
All right, I'll put the shirt. Old guy, I can't wear that shirt if it's 95 and humid out, but I will start putting that on again. So, all right. It was great seeing all of you. Old guy, I'm going to have some tea with honey right now, or hot water, lemon, and honey, straight from Colorado. So there is that. So until next time,
show it again.
Here's Bub's paw print.
It's hard to.
You can hold it up and angle it like that.
That's what I was doing.
Like that. To Bub's. We'll have beers for him soon, or drinks, whatever your libation is. So, big paw for a big boy. So, thanks for being there for us, folks. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.